Mansan, and I am the Executive Director of the Middle East Solar Industry Association. I want to thank first and foremost our partners, a great partner, Solarabic, with whom we decided to create this webinar. To provide all of you with a little bit of a background, this webinar was actually created on something that was rotating on the screen just before, which is a report, an extensive report that we published during the World Future Energy Summit this last April, and which served as a base to develop this webinar and invite these wonderful experts that are here with us today. So I'm going to start. You will be seeing me in between each of the speakers who are going to be giving you between 10 and 15 minutes presentation. I want to warn the audience today that the webinar is going to be lasting a little bit over the 45 minutes. We have a full and impactful program and exciting things in these presentations. So please stay with us. Feel free to send your questions. It's really important. And at some point during the webinar, actually, we will be taking also some surveying. We'll be doing some surveying of the audience to find out some information about you. So let's get started today with actually the researcher behind the report, which I was just discussing with you and presenting to you, which, by the way, please, available for download for free on Solarabic website and on MESIA website. Before this, I will also acknowledge our sponsor, Sungrow. Thank you so much. And Anne, actually, from Sungrow Hydrogen, is present today and will be giving you a lot of information about what Sungrow is doing. With that, let's start. Ameera, Amayrah, who is the researcher, one of the researchers behind the Green Hydrogen Report, is going to start by giving you a little bit of an overview. She's responsible for the development of the market research on market research and project research in the region, and developing the MENA renewable database at Solarabic. And we're really happy to have her here today. Ameera, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and I wish to welcome everyone who's joining us to attend this webinar, and I'm pretty sure that they will find it so much meaningful and impactful.
Thank you. You can start.
Yeah, I will share my screen.
Thank you.
First of all, this is Ameera Amayrah. I'm the research team lead at Solarabic. At Solarabic, in addition of being MENA's #1 renewable energy platform, we also offer different kind of services. One of them at the research department is we conduct studies. We present white papers. At the comprehensive white papers, we dive into markets, industry, and cutting-edge technologies in 3 languages: Arabic, English, and French. In addition to this, we develop custom market research database and reports to help multinational companies to access the region. We cover different kind of topics like in renewable energy, in mobility, storage, green hydrogen, and we also available for any custom reports. We have the ability to enter the markets and start developing database from scratch. Today, I'm going to give you a regional analysis about the green hydrogen. First of all, it's not a secret that our region is abundant in solar irradiation, which make it attractive for investments in renewable energy. According to IEA, also we are expected to grow 4.5 times than the growth that we are already having. If you see the figure in front of you, you will see that our region comes second worldwide in the technical potential for producing green hydrogen. under $1.5 per kilogram by 2050. This is according to IRENA. When we come second, if we compare our potential with other countries, our potential is 23 times higher than Europe, 1.5 times higher than North America, and nearly 3 times higher than Central Asia. And like you can see that Central Asia has the most highest potential. Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia also have much less potential. According to MEDS, currently there are 50 projects for developing green hydrogen and ammonia in our region. And the amount in investments is approximately $150 billion. Countries were aware of the potential green hydrogen and how they must adapt to encourage to attract investments. So countries started working on developing strategies and roadmaps. Some of them both, and some of them succeeded and released their strategies and roadmap. Others are still currently in the developments. It is worth mentioning that Jordan currently is under development, but they already released the initial drafts. And Egypt, in addition to the strategy and the roadmap, they also offer subsidy to encourage investments in green hydrogen. At Solarabic, we tracked the key projects and the MOUs in our region. And this graph is not the amount of a project or the amount of the MOUs, not for both. We can see that all the world's eyes is in our region. Only worldwide, there are only 3 green hydrogen projects reached to the final investment design stage. 2 of them are in the region. One of them, NEOM Green Hydrogen Project in Saudi Arabia, which is the world's largest green hydrogen project. The other is Oman Green Hydrogen and Chemical Projects. It is worth mentioning that Masdar commits to produce 1 million tons per annum of low carbon hydrogen by 2030. If you can see that Egypt and Jordan has the most number of MOUs and projects. Egypt has the most number of projects. They have 23 projects, which is number 1 after Saudi Arabia and UAE and Oman. The secret behind Jordan's highest number is not for the project, it's for the memorial of understanding, because all of you know that Jordan was one of the first countries to attract investment in renewable energy, and they have a well-established regulation frameworks. And regarding to this, the companies were racing to enter the Jordanian market and signed memorial of understanding with the ministry just to study. So this is not the number of a project. Egypt has the number 1. Finally, just to mention the report Hind talked about later, at Solarabic and MESIA, we worked for a year to track the development and the project, the memorial of understanding, and the potential for the MENA countries. We tracked, we just gathered all the information and we put it right here. If you wish to know more, feel free to download it. It's for free. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ameera. So before Before jumping into, first of all, I want to encourage everyone, as Ameera was saying, we can receive questions. You can send them through the chat. We are going to be selecting some questions to ask the speakers at the end of this webinar. So please feel free to drop them there. If we cannot get to your questions today, we can send you the answers by email as well. Without further ado, we are going to be moving actually from a MENA perspective to a global perspective that is going to be presented today by Mr. Montadar Alsaffar, who is present with us. We're really excited to get his perspective. This is a very well-seasoned professional. Yeah, the floor is yours, Montadar. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Hind. Can you hear me very well, please?
Yes, you sound clear.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everybody. Actually, I would start my part with thanking Solarabic and MESIA for inviting me to such a valuable webinar. And thank you in person, Hind, for introducing me and giving me the privilege to be introducing the global overview of green hydrogen, as this is going to be introducing the content also for my following colleagues. So I'm going to be talking about the understanding the context. So it's about the climate change issue. What is the issue exactly, the main driver for our changes here, and the cause impact to understand the full picture. And I'm going to be talking about the hydrogen types or spectrum, and why green hydrogen, and why we are
Montadar,
selecting the green.
we cannot hear you.
Hello?
I can
Hello?
hear him very well. You are
Yeah,
very much
I
audible.
do hear as well.
It works.
Okay.
Please go ahead. I'll write him. No worries.
Okay, thank you so much.
We're
And then
having a-
finally, I'm going to be talking about the global demand and regional green hydrogen initiative as a case study. So
okay,
just,
good.
yeah,
All right, we're
just
getting
to,
feedback from the audience. I can hear you very well. Okay.
okay, very
Not
good, fantastic,
sure.
fantastic. So just to simply explain the issue, which is about the climate change. So during the
Please
last century, the global communities started to observe the climatic changes when it comes to the heat temperature rise, the melted ice from the frozen pools, and then eventually the raising and the sea level, and that caused multiple issues also, which is impacting the heat events, the wildfires, droughts, and as a result of the it's going to be impacting the water supply. And due to the air quality and pollution issues, we are going to have a risk of public health risk and loss of biodiversities that will affect the food production, as well as the flooding and coastal cities submerging. I just want to highlight one severe risk here, and express the severity and explain it to the audience, that imagining that some of the cities in the world are going to be submerged under the sea level due to the climate change. So that brought a lot of attention to the global communities, and they started to study the causes and the analysis for the climate change, and they found that the main cause of the climate change, the greenhouse gases that acts like a blanket on our Earth that trap the heat inside the atmosphere. So, and with further analysis, they found that the main component of those greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide and methane. So 76% of the greenhouse gases are basically a carbon dioxide, and 65% of those carbon dioxide is based on fossil fuel burning. So global communities started to put the effort. They paid attention to that. They collaborated together, starting from long back ago. But here I'm going to show quickly the major milestones or timeline that will show the effort of the global community. So in 1992, the creation of the United Nations framework has been already started in the Earth Summit. In 2007, as an example, in COP 13, which is the conference of the parties, they started to adopt Kyoto Protocol. And 2015, it's a major milestone into this transition. In COP21 specifically, the countries, 195 countries adopted the Paris Climate Change Agreement. And in 2023, we just have last year the COP28 in UAE, which presented a lot of initiatives, a lot of memorandum of understanding signing, a lot of effort and calls to accelerate the transition for the clean energy. So one of those mitigation action toward the clean energy transition is related to the hydrogen and green energy. So based on that, so the hydrogen, I'm not going to talk about the chemical properties as a chemistry class, but I will talk about the chemical properties as such and the availability. So due to the chemical properties and characteristic of hydrogen, and due to the availability for this element and simplicity, it has been chosen as a good candidate for the fuel. But the problem here is that normally the hydrogen does not come alone. So it comes with a certain process to be extracted. And based on the extracted process for the hydrogen, we code the hydrogen. So for example, we have here three types of hydrogen. These are the three main types, although we have more than those like pink and yellow. So gray hydrogen could come from the extraction process from the methane when it's reacted with the steam to separate the carbon and hydrogen. But this process is not fully clean as it's going to emit the carbon. When we add the carbon capture and storage technology to this project, which is the steam methane reforming as an example, we are coming up with a little cleaner process and cleaner hydrogen, and we call it or code it with a blue hydrogen, okay? But the main focus here in our webinar is going to be about the green hydrogen. The green hydrogen is considered the purest shape of the hydrogen as it's generated by the renewable energy and a combination between solar and wind. And we use that usually by the electrolysis process by using the water in order to be separated, the hydrogen and oxygen. And as that will not produce any carbon, and it can be collected, it can be liquefied in other shape like ammonia, while combining it with nitrogen, and it can be stored in large quantity. It can be transported also. So by this, we can say that this is a perfect candidate for the fuel carrier. So coming to the global green hydrogen demand, on the right side, we can see a graph from McKinsey and Company report that shows that by 2050, a clean hydrogen demand globally could reach up to 585 million ton per annum. And by Goldman Sachs, or as per Goldman Sachs research, which is one of the biggest investment and banking firms, they are expecting that the hydrogen could become a 12 trillion market by 2030. And on the right or the left side of the slide, we can see the map for the hydrogen project globally. And also by the Goldman Sachs, by 2030, they are expecting 137 gigawatt to be installed in order to suit the demand. And as per the economist, 100 or 1,000 hydrogen projects are underway worldwide. So we can see a huge move into the hydrogen, a huge move into the clean hydrogen energy transition. So when it comes to the regional green hydrogen initiatives, there are a lot, and probably some of them has been discussed by my colleague Ameera, and probably will be discussed by my following colleagues. There are a lot of initiatives in the MENA regions, specifically, as MENA region could become a hydrogen hub for the world. And there are a lot of projects in Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Mauritania and Algeria and Morocco. But what blown my mind and grabbed my attention is Oman. I would take it as a large scale example project or initiative. They probably they will have 8 projects agreed for the green hydrogen, and they are going to invest $49 billion in order to come up with those green hydrogens with a capacity of 34.8 gigawatt. And the first phase, which is going to be like a pilot phase for this project, it's going to be in 2030. And I really recommend you guys to go through the recommended references, and specifically the book that I'm having a screenshot right now on the right side of the slide, which is a clean hydrogen economy in Saudi Arabia. I really, really, really strongly recommend everyone to read this book. It's just newly published by one of the reputed research institutes in the world called CAPSAR. It's almost 800 pages. It's a comprehensive resources for those who are looking for the information for the green hydrogen. And at the end, I would like to thank you all. Thank Solarabic and MESIA. And in case anybody would like to have questions, any information related to the green hydrogen project, they can reach me out through LinkedIn and I can support them as much as I can. So thank you so much. And back to you, Hind. Hind, you are muted.
Hello. Thank you so much, Montadar. Great presentation. Thank you. So I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the audience here today. We are 206 participants strong. It's wonderful, and I would really we would love to hear more about you. So before we move to our next speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you guys to please answer a couple of questions for our benefits. We understand who you are. So Monif, will you be or Malak, will you be sharing the questions?
I'm sharing that on the screen now.
Okay,
so we start with the country.
fantastic. Great.
So everyone should see the poll on the screens to tell us from what country you join us today. And please also, if you are watching on social media, write in the comments from what country you joined us. Okay. I think we have now 60% of the participants already answered. We can end the poll, show the results to everyone. Yeah, I think the majority are from UAE and Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
I think from all around that we have people from
They
all
are.
the categories. We are very much welcome. We're very happy to see this big mix from different countries in the region.
Nice representation across the region.
Then I'll run the next one. Just if you please tell us in what industry do you work, in case you work for a developer, an EPC, service provider, investor, in the public sector, consultant. I see a lot of consultants in here. And we have 20 something. I don't want to spoil the results. We'll leave it till everyone, let's say the majority have answered. Again, we're crossing 60% of people have already participated here on Zoom. Please on social media, write it in the comments so we also get to know from what industry joined us. I'll end the poll and share the results with you. We see that there are 10% from developers, 20% EPCs, 10% service providers, 20% consultants, and 14% from academia, I think, and also variety. Thank you very much for the vote. Getting back to you, and
thank you so much for participating, everyone. We are just about, we're doing pretty good on time as well. And I'm really excited to present to you our next speaker today, coming from EDF, Mr. Let me give a little bit of a background. He's the Deputy CEO of EDF Middle East, with 20 years of experience in the energy sector, and he's worked both on the molecule side and the green electron side. So without further ado, Mr. Aurelien DELAHAYE, we're here with us today. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Inde. And first of all, thank you, MESIA and Solarabic, for inviting me to take part to this very valuable webinar. And what I like today about green H2 is when the green electron, meets the green molecule. So low carbon H2 projects are facing a very high level of uncertainty. And that's probably what defines, the best the H2 projects today. So I will try to split this level of uncertainty into the main challenges stakeholders stepping in this market are going to face. So you all read or at least noticed, let's say a huge amount, maybe you can click, sorry. A huge amount of announcement of low carbon H2 projects. To give you a glimpse, as of Q1 2024, we are talking about an overall amount of roughly 130 million tons low carbon H2 projects announced, mainly green H2. And among those, 2.3 million are under construction, 0.9 million are in operations, and 1.3 million have been cancelled. So you understand that a lot of them are in development and struggle a bit, reaching the FID stage. So maybe a point to keep in mind also is that most of those projects at development stage are drained by North America for 30%, Europe for 30% as well, and China for the time being at 13%. So it's progressing, but at the pace of many challenges. So the first one, as it's already displayed at the back of the screen, is complexity of projects. So you need to power industrial equipments, which are pretty costly. So you need to keep them in operation as long as you can, okay, to optimize. And the thing is that you power them with a renewable energy, which are by definition intermittent. So maybe you can cope. You can cope with electrolyzer, to switch on, switch off. But if you decide, to produce ammonia, for example, interruption is much more complicated to manage. So in that case, you probably need to add up a bit of batteries, handle a bit of storage for H2, for ammonia. How do you design this? How do you plan for your offtake sequence? This is the type of modeling, that you need to do, and that is heading to something a bit more complex than expected. Can you click, please? In terms of technology, it seems that alkaline and PEM electrolyzer will be the two main technologies competing in the coming years. But new technologies will improve and efficiency with it. So what to choose? Do we take a bet on the future, or do we simply choose the cheapest? Why not? But even the cheapest is pretty expensive because the sizes are still small and not enough industrialized. So the price will decrease. The price decrease will come from the manufacturing ramp up and also equipment size up. When is it going to happen? It will happen along with the number of projects reaching the FID, construction, and then operation. So bear in mind also that for large-scale H2 projects, the power component accounts for 50 to 60% of the overall cost, which means that this domain, PV wind, which is already pretty optimized, will need to be even further, let's say, optimized in terms of cost. And how much more can we reduce? Talking now about the design and in the EPC strategy, it will be a key aspect in the LCOH and LCOD, D standing for derivatives. You probably think that given the giant projects we are sometimes talking about, and more actually, huge optimization can be made. But it may not be actually that simple. It will be difficult, not to say impossible, to use the same EPC for renewable power, electrolyzer plants, and derivates plants. So the EPC strategy will be a very key aspect of the project and how we can optimize, the capex. Few figures to set the landscape. In its 2021 report, the International Energy Agency was talking about a cost range of $3 per kilogram to $8 per kilogram for green hydrogen versus $0.5 to $1.7 per kilogram for gray hydrogen. So 3 years after, it seems this green H2 price is narrowing, and experts are confident that prices can be optimized to reach, a level of takers are going to be willing to pay. But support will be needed to prime the pump and to close that gap. Can you click, please? And policy support is critical for such kind of projects. Remember how solar developed in the early days due to subsidies and flexible taxation regime, which opened the door to developers and manufacturers to increase the volumes of projects and then reduce prices. All this led to the industry to a much better price of electricity. And today we can say that the renewable projects contribute to less CO2, first point, and much cheaper price on the grids. For H2, this is the beginning, and clarity varies between countries. For example, the European policy has recently crystallized and is probably among the most ready ones, not because I'm French. The North American one is evolving in the right direction, but it's said that there are still gray zones that persist and that we need some clarification. Although you all understand that well-designed policy will definitely accelerate growth across markets. And Japan has understood this very well. They set a production and demand target for 2030, and they legislate the incentive to reach them. The scheme that is used is called the contract for difference, which means that they accept to compensate the price of the let's say e-fuels, the green products, compared to the existing ones, so that it promotes it promotes this business. And 2050 net zero targets are also part of the Japanese H2 policy. So policies and regulation, for me, are the only way to make the business model flies. We need them to compensate the gap and launch the manufacturing optimization the industry needs. All this, of course, will help off-takers to take position, to make decision and anticipate their action. Can you click, please? So to give you an idea of the landscape in 2050, the global low-carbon hydrogen demand may rise up to 200 million tons per annum. So Ameera said, the figures have to be taken with care because sometimes it differs a little bit. Ameera was talking about more than 500 million total. Today, there are a lot of publications and we have to take care of what we say. But the new end-use sectors will drive the demand up to 100 million by 2050. With mobility first, meaning road transport, marine, and aviation, that will consume 60 of them, while the power generation sector is expected to take the rest, so 40. The existing sector, like refining and the fertilizer industry, for example, will remain an important consumer with 50 million tons per annum of low-carbon hydrogen. And they will also be the early shifter because they already use the gray hydrogen. So having said that, now that we have all identified who's off-taker to target, the challenge will be to get those off-takers commit on a price that may be higher than its current feedstock cost, that will be flat because it will be difficult to take the risk for a developer to lower it down under the cost of production, on a duration of agreement that will need to be long enough for the developer and the lenders to recover their investment. So that's a pretty tricky challenges to overtake. Can you click, please? Very tricky challenges to overtake, maybe especially now with the increasing inflation and the interest rates that damage the viability of those projects in development. But as policies, as I told you, are reaching maturity and we see some progress, they're expected to compensate that gap between gray and green. So more projects get close to FID now than projects given up. And like any project of that kind, the bankability of H2 project will be assessed based on few criteria. The solidity of the consortium, the contractors that will be mandated for the work, so EPCs and OEM suppliers, how you guarantee the operation and maintenance of the assets, and what is the off-taker reputation, its seriousness, financial strength, and the guarantee can bring. And I would add a last point to that, which is the credibility of the tariff he's willing to accept, the off-taker, on the duration of the contract. I was just talking about it. So another challenge will be to embark the lenders. So apart from those criteria, to make it clear, the other challenge there will be to have lenders on board at much earlier stage than the FID date, because we will have a lot of, let's say, pre-development and let's say feasibility study to carry out, and we will need to engage them, you know, before that to get some kind of commitment from them. So how, in other words, to obtain commitment from lenders at early stage to decide to engage the rest of our DevEx, because at the end of the day, such big projects represent a pretty high DevEx. And frankly, for that one, I think developers may have to cope without it. Can you click, please? Yeah, so that's, okay, the ultimate goal, of course, to reach the FID and then launch the construction and further on the operation. And with the last click, you will understand why at the very beginning of this slide presentation, I was talking about uncertainty. Another click. Now that we all have this, the theory in mind, let's take the example of our project in Oman. And thank you, Montadar, for taking Oman as an example of those green H2 projects. The project our consortium has been awarded for end of April plans to produce more than 150,000 tons of green H2 per year and more than 1 million tons ammonia. So the two per annum as well. The two plants being powered with more than 4 gigawatts of renewable wind and solar. But maybe before we get more into the detail of this project and its challenges, let's talk about Oman opportunities. Can you click? So Oman has defined a very clear roadmap with targets to develop green H2 and its derivatives. The country gives itself until 2050 to reach a target of 8 million tons green H2 with checkpoint in 2030 and 2040. There is a very structured frame in the auction tender that has happened, you know, for round 1 and round 2, which defined, you know, very clearly the need and what developers have to do. Then the east coast of Oman offers the best conditions of solar and wind, which should enable to reach among the best economics for power production. Can you click, please? So jumping now to the challenges, as I explained, the strength and the credibility of the consortium is key to build up the solution, the technical solution, and convince off-takers and lenders. So I think we have not to say the best consortium, at least a very strong consortium. EDF Group is a key player in the energy transition, world leader in low carbon energy, 93% carbon free, and our renewable entity operates a net installed wind and solar capacity of more than 12 gigawatts. Yamna is a specialized green hydrogen and is specialized in green and hydrogen and derivatives as developer, UK developer, and they're focusing on a green hydrogen project in Europe, in Asia, and also Oceania. And we have also on board of our consortium an off-taker who's one of the largest electric power utility companies in Japan, with an installed capacity of 26 gigawatts globally and a strong commitment to decarbonize. So now, how to face those challenges? So to start with the first one, what we have thought is that to have a strong engineering team, would be key. Within EDF, you have a very large set of skills and engineers to, among other things, for example, engineer all our nuclear plants and hydropower plants. So we also have some experience in the gas, let's say, in gas plants. So we will use those engineering teams. We also have an affiliate called Dynamics, who's already doing hydrogen business, green hydrogen business, especially in the mobility. So we will use that strength to secure the design, the techno, and the technology and the EPC. For the offtake portfolio, the key has been to diversify as much as we could this offtake. What we did is we found some potential off-takers in Europe and also in Asia. Okay, in order to maximize our chance to get those takers. It's a very early stage today, so we have some letter of intent or term sheet signs, but all the work has to be done in terms of offtake. And you understood in my previous slide, the challenge of offtake. In terms of regulation, as you understood, we have on board, of course, J-Power, Japanese stakeholder, who will keep us updated on this, let's say, regulation aspect. And as I told you, Japan is already a very mature country, so the offtake will be easier in that regards. Middle East needs to probably wake up. There is let's say, an in-country value aspect in the Oman project that we see more than as an opportunity than a constraint. Development, industrial, let's say, development as well. And we will need, if we need to sell our products to Oman, to have some very clear regulation in terms of compensation, because as I told you, subsidies will be probably a key aspect of launching those projects for off-takers. And the last one, which is the risk management, as I told you, that our idea is to really embark as early as we can lenders. But this one, I think we're going to take our part of risk and to not bet, but at least take the risk to step further and reach the FID to have lenders with us. As a word of conclusion, I would say that our let's say our philosophy with such projects is really to learn. If a company like EDF with its sponsors is not doing it, who's going to do it? I think to be able to reach the net zero, which is also part of our raison d'être, it's important that we learn, by doing. So I thank you for your attention, and I think I will leave you here with Hinde. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurelien. Perfect timing, very thorough, and I'm grateful for you providing some insights on the hydrogen project, which was very recently announced at the tail end of last month. And we are going to be moving now. Please, again, the audience, which is we've hit the 220 mark. Please feel free to share your questions. We will be, after our next and final speaker, we will be taking on and selecting some questions from the audience. So please continue sending your questions. Thank you. And this will take me to our last speaker for the day, last but not least, Anna, also known as Anne Yangxi, who's the MEA Regional Manager at Sungrow, who's also our esteemed sponsor today. Sungrow, I'm sure many of you know, is a leading manufacturer in the renewable energy sector, and is joining us today to support this event and showcase what Sungrow is doing in hydrogen and green hydrogen. Thank you so much. Anna.
Thank you, Hind. Thank you, Hind. Thank you, Hind. Okay, all right, let me share the screen. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much to attend today's webinar. So here is Anna from Sungrow Hydrogen, and I'm taking care of the MENA region. I believe some of you already knew Sungrow Power. Yes, we are the sister company. So now I'm gonna start my presentation today. I believe after our experts present before me, so you guys already have the insights of this market of hydrogen, green hydrogen. So with my presentation as a technology supplier company, I'm gonna introduce who we are, what we are doing, and what we have, and what we are gonna provide to the MENA market. So as you all know, hydrogen as a secondary energy source has many excellent features, such as diverse, clean, and efficient, as well as the widely used. So starting from 2020, many countries around the world have proposed the goal of carbon peak, carbon neutrality, and formulated the strategies of hydrogen energy development. So Sungrow Hydrogen has followed the step. So we established a research team in 2023, in 2026, in 2016. After 3 years, so we officially established a Sungrow Hydrogen company. Until the year of 2023, we have finished the round A financing, and the company's market value is 6 billion RMB. So since the company founded, we already have more than 100 people in our R&D center and certified by many international authorities. And because we place a great importance on the development of our R&D capabilities, so we have many different components R&D center, especially the one in Germany, which is for the advanced worldly technology research and study. As we know, people always concern over the stability and the safety of the product. So based on our R&D center, we have done the necessary test and analysis of the product to make sure every component is able to be long-term stable operation. So now coming to our manufacturing line. So with a total investment of 600 million yuan, the company has developed automatic production and assembling lines for the key components, such as the electrodes, membranes, and the insulation sheets. So that's made us able to reach 3 giga production yearly, and 2 giga for alkaline and 1 giga for PEM. As we really value our R&D and the test, so we built a 20 mega real testing platform, which is the biggest and earliest one in China. So that completed, this test farm completed into the operation in June of 2020. So the platform occupied more than 9,000 square meters with a full range of testing and the validation capabilities from the core materials of the products and also the key equipment for the hydrogen production to electro-hydrogen coupling control technology. As we know that to produce the hydrogen is not a new technology. So even though the industry applications of the electrolysis for hydrogen production have long history, and to get the power to hydrogen production system is relatively simple in the traditional way. So we usually just, in the traditional way, we usually get the electricity from the grid and only need to pay attention to the safety and the stable operation of the stack. So however, the changing application scenarios present higher requirements and challenges for electrolytic hydrogen generation system. In the renewable scenario, we can see the big changes have taken place from the front end of the energy to the back end of the application scenario. So when we say the green hydrogen production system, the front end of the power supply of the whole system needs to be coupled with the renewable energy. Also, there is the great fluctuation due to the frequency drop, active power, and the reactive power and stable requirements, as well as the voltage variation due to the demand drop and extra. So the system networking and energy management is going to be a big challenge. So all in all, the upgraded application scenario required higher requirements for the entire production system, including the high performance, flexibility, and intelligence. So how are we gonna make high performance, flexibility, and intelligence? All right, we have two technology solutions. So here you can see is AC coupled. We use grid supporting to generate electricity from the wind or PV. So connecting to our AC-DC rectifier to feed hydrogen production system, and extra power could be fed back to the grid, and it's suggested used in the utility scale projects. So besides the AC coupled, we also have DC coupled solution. But in this way, we use PIME technology because of the DC coupled is able to be connecting to the PV panels or the BESS directly in the off-grid system. And what's more, we also recommend the solution to be applicated in the distribution scenario for some small scale. And so what is alkaline and what is PEM and what is the difference between them? All right. Alkaline is 30% of KOH solution for electrolyzing, but the PEM is a proton exchange membrane with pure water, and alkaline is big, PEM is small. So for per standard unit of alkaline is 5 megawatt, for 300 normal meters of PEM is 1.5 megawatt. So the capacity for the alkaline is better to be used in the utility scale, and the PEM is better for the distribution projects. And I believe that an effective management system is crucial for the success of our projects. So Sungrow Hydrogen's EMS system not only provides a variety of essential and advanced functions, but also offers the open interface. So with this open interface, the plant owner or the operator can easily integrate upstream and the downstream system into the EMS system, thus achieving better data flow and system collaboration. So here are two example situations of EMS system. As per our deeply understanding and insights, of the renewable energy, we simulated the 7 occasions that would occur in the process of the hydrogen production from renewable energy generation. When we have many block of stacks, the EMS system can also achieve the cluster control function. Okay, all right, here are some reference that we have delivered in China. So here you can see this is the biggest, this is the largest green hydrogen ammonia projects in China. We delivered, and also this is the cave storage of hydrogen projects. We support these projects for our government. Also another project reference that they are for the hydrogen refueling. And here you can see this is the Pure PEM project, which is located beside Yangxi River. And also the project, which is the first domestic pilot project in China. And also another project in Inner Mongolia. So thank you, Solarabic and the MESIA. So it is my pleasure to have you all for listening my presentation today. Hope to collaborate with you in the future projects and to contribute our technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you to Sungrow Hydrogen for sponsoring today and providing us with this content. Thank you. So I would like to move into our next phase. We have received a lot of questions. We have selected some to each of the speakers here. Actually, Anne, I'd like to start with you if possibly, or let me see. Let's start with Aurelien. I'll start with Aurelien. Aurelien, so the first question is, with all the uncertainties, how do you secure financing and achieve financial closure? You mentioned non-firm offtake agreements, which are typically not enough of financier. How did you achieve this for the Oman project?
That's a very good question, you know, and if I had the answer, you know, I wouldn't be sharing it, you know, with anyone.
Yes.
If it was, you know, the way. Apart from the
Buckle it up.
joke, as I said, I mean, you know, you have all to bear in mind that the development phase is something that, you know, we think will be lasting around 3 years, 3 years development. So it's going to be, you know, the finance, the project finance will happen on eve of FID in the end. You know, when I was saying that, okay, how to embark, you know, the lenders on board at, let's say, pre-feasibility stage, etc. I think it will be, we will have them, they will tell us that, okay, they follow us, and but it will be difficult, you know, to get warranty before the FID. So at the end of the day, you know, I like this image of the planet alignment. We will have to make sure that the planets are aligned, okay? And planets will be aligned if you have a good technical solution which guarantee a good price that will limit, you know, the compensation required in terms of regulation and, you know, those contract for difference I was talking about, for example, in Japan. And if you manage to do so, you know, and the off-taker will be with you, you will put in place your contract, and lenders will then give finance. But we have to also, you know, go ahead and progress. And I think, you know, a lot of project finance lenders want to be part of this project too. So let's not forget about that. We want this to happen, but lenders want this to happen and they want to be part of it. So I think they will also be ready to compromise a bit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Are we going to move to Ameera? Ameera, the question for you is, what are the most advanced regulatory frameworks supporting green hydrogen in MENA?
Actually, like, there is no clear answer to this. All of the countries has published a good strategies, good roadmaps. But if you want to judge, really, we're gonna have. We need to wait and see the when they will accomplish the plans, the strategies. There is like a lot of plans, a lot of stuff that they want to do. Are they all gonna be applied? I don't think so. Like, I think there is a lot of percentage for the plans that is not gonna go through with time. So we need time to judge for the green hydrogen.
Fair enough. Since I have you here, I will ask just one little one. We were asked about Iraq, and have you come in your research into any information about potential future strategies for Iraq?
Iraq is a special condition because till now they don't have renewable energy strategies and regulations. There is like, finally they said that the draft will be published soon. So if we're talking about the absence of renewable energy regulations, I think it will need a lot of time to prepare and publish a green hydrogen regulations.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for this. I am going to go back to Montadar. This question is for you, our CAS expert here. With the question on the planned green hydrogen capacity in Saudi. So is the planned green hydrogen capacity aimed in KSA aimed towards export, or do you see that local demand will consume its generation?
Can you just rephrase the question? So are you asking about the demand in Saudi Arabia or the capacity for the green hydrogen project?
Capacity for export of the country. That's the first part. Or do you believe that the production will be consumed locally only?
Now, probably as per the CAPSARC reference that I have mentioned, the production is going to be, as of now, produced globally. But I believe that Saudi Arabia is going to take the initiative to have it internally to cover the local demand. But that has not been announced yet, or at least as per my understanding or as per my information.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think oh yes, we had a question for Anne actually regarding systems. So it was a question about performance of your systems and how do you achieve such high level of load regulation and rapid start times?
All right. I would say, based on our professional R&D experts and deeply understanding of the electrochemistry, we have improved the overall performance by designing the structure of the electrolyzer, the flow channel, the flow field, as well as how to select materials of the electrolytes and the diaphragm. I think thereby improving the load range and the response speed of our equipment.
Okay, thank you. So I think, well, we are just on time, actually. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I want to go back to Anthea, so all our experts' faces just one last time. Thank you so much, Montadar, Ameera, Aurelien, and the support team, ANS and Sungrow Hydrogen. Thank you so much for your support and for all the over 220 people who are here with us today. It was great. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Solarabic, and I will see all of you soon. The webinar will be posted on our channels. A link to the report will also be shared with you, and the presentations from our sponsor and the rest of the speakers will be also shared. So thank you. Take a look at your inboxes, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye.